Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Hakodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David, reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about some recent revelations that have been coming out in the news regarding those snake bites. But let's read this first. This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because there's been a lot of evidence that has been coming out in this last week, right? And namely, this is what reading this headline here is one of the main reasons I'm making this lesson, right? Let's read it. It says, Al Roker misses Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade for first time in 27 years. Now, it isn't so much about this, parade, but it's that this man here, Al Roker, that he missed it. Now, him missing this parade, which celebrates the destruction and the massacre of our fellow Israelites, right? Because again, if you are unaware, the Native American Indians are Israelites. They are of the tribe of Gad, okay? And Thanksgiving basically honors, or it celebrates their destruction, because it doesn't matter what people say today that why they celebrate Thanksgiving, what they feel that it's celebrating, but you have to go back to what it was. And that was that it was a way for the settlers, right? We know we're Edomites that came to the land of America and basically stole the land from the tribe of Gad, right? And eventually would steal the land from the tribe of Issachar when these Edomites eventually got to the west coast of America. But that being said, it's spiritual that the Lord did this to this Judite, because Al Roker, let's take a look at this, right? Al Roker is an Israelite, right? He is of the tribe of Judah, more than likely, right? An Israelite of the southern kingdom. And you see, as you can see here, it tells you, it says, Al Roker gets the snake bite on live TV, right? And just like in the book of Maccabees, where they would tell Israelites to eat pork or do something to mislead the Israelites, only the righteous stood up against it, right? And didn't go along with Edom's plan. But this man here, he's one of those Israelites who were following the heathen ways, right? And this is ultimately why the Lord has now visited him, right? What does it say with this recent news of last week regarding him, right? It says, today's show, Al Roker reveals he's in the hospital and being treated for, you could read it right there, right? And that's why this man is not here, being a host to this parade. Now, it's not only him, but you have other, people like this right here. It's a fairly sad situation, but it says poster boy for snakebite campaign dies suddenly at just 4 years old, right? So you see, and look at that, man. Besides that, look, he has a little rainbow on his on his shoulder of his shirt, right? See, so you could tell this kid was being raised by people who were not prudent. They were let's go back to the scripture, right? His parents were simple, right? Because again, they went along with which was evident, which was obviously, something that was fishy, right? And again, for anybody who paid attention to what was going on, you could tell that these snake bites, weren't on the up and up, right? I can't really talk too much about it, because we all know what YouTube does when you bring out too much truth regarding these snake bites. But hey, let's just hope that this video doesn't get cut. But I'm just going to go through some articles and you can read it for yourself. Look at this. It says snakebite is no longer mainly a pandemic of the, of the prudent. Here's why, and this is from Washington Post. So even this left-wing, rag, this, what used to be a good news institution, which is now basically a propaganda, paper, has had to come out and admit it. Okay, and they're bringing it out in the narrative as nobody knew, which we all know is a bunch of BS. Right? Everybody understood what was going on, but a lot of people, a lot of simple people, were too afraid to lose their job, to get kicked out of the armies, to basically go against what they were being told to do. Right? They were asked to bow to Baal, and they did. Right? Unlike the people who stood up against this, just like Daniel and the other Israelites in the Bible, for example, right, where they decided not to kneel to the image of Baal, right? And we all know this was simply just a test run, and ultimately a way for these devils to get the power that they, now miraculously are not giving up, okay? Because we all understand what that's going to be used for, right? And that's, Revelations 13 and 16. Now, that being said, let's go and take a look real quick at the White House, because today, or I think it was yesterday, was the last day for Fauci at his job, right? And instead of him answering some tough questions, you could see Eve, right, the so-called black woman, had to stand up and basically play defense for him when he was asked some tough questions. Because again, what's going to eventually happen from all these things that are coming out now is a lot of people are going to start asking questions, and eventually the questions are going to stop. And there's going to be something that's going to come after the questions. But we'll get into that in just a bit. But let's watch this video.
Yesterday, he was asked at the podium, does he have anything to hide? Do you have anything to hide? And like anything you would like to say in front of a congressional testimony, anything that you're afraid that you would say in front of that congressional testimony, anything to hide? Here's what he had to say.
There are oversight hearings. I absolutely will cooperate fully and testify before the Congress if asked. You may not know, but I've testified before the Congress a few hundred times, okay, over the last 40 years or so. So I have no trouble testifying. We can defend and explain and stand by everything that we've said. So I have nothing to hide.
Yeah. But then a reporter tried to ask a separate follow-up question of Dr. Fauci, a reporter from Africa, tried to ask him about the origins of COVID, about, like funding of that. Were you responsible? Who was responsible for the origins of COVID and the funding of that? What did he know about this? And then this unbelievable moment happened at the White House. Watch.
Dr. Fauci, only 13% of...
Hold on one second. We have a process here. I'm not calling out on people who yell. And you're being disrespectful to your colleagues, and you're being disrespectful to our guests. I will not call on you if you yell. And also, you're taking time off the clock because Dr. Fauci has to leave in a couple of minutes. I'm done. I'm not getting into a back and forth with you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Who was yelling?
Only 30.
You're not Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
You ask your question, you should allow her to answer the question.
It is not your turn. It is not your turn.
You can't read a press briefing. You need to call from people across the room. She has a valid question. She's asked about the origin of COVID.
I hear the question.
And Dr. Fauci is the best person to answer.
I hear your question, but we're not doing this the way you want it. This is a disrespectful. It is. I'm done. Simon, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you right now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're taking time away from your colleagues. Go ahead.
Only 13% of it.
I mean, everybody was yelling, first of all.
We will not tolerate questions. We will not tolerate questions on the virus origins.
So you see that? So that right there is how these elites, with the help of these dogs, are trying to quench, questions, right? But what does the Messiah himself said, right? This is Luke 12:2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known, right? So it doesn't matter how much these devils try to hide this truth. They try to stop questions from being answered. This truth eventually is going to come out, right? And this last week, there was the elder brother Menat Zakba brought out this beautiful documentary called "Died Suddenly," right? That has come out this last week, and as you can see from Google's search trends, this term has shot up in the last day, right? Starting since June 13th to the 19th, right? Or from the 2026, right? So it's gone up, and people are looking at this documentary, which I'm gonna go ahead and put a link in the description, Akim. So if you want to watch this documentary, it's about an hour and a half. It's fairly gruesome, some parts, but it pretty much lays it straight out on the line what these Edomites, what these devils were up to, right? And like I said, right, as you can see here, this man Kim Dotcom, he's a famous Australian, I think billionaire. He was responsible for a lot of the basically a network. He's an internet billionaire down in Australia, and even he's come out and shared a link to this documentary. Okay, and you can see it right here. It's on Rumble. That's where you're gonna have to go to, because you can't find this stuff on YouTube or any of the controlled sources and stuff. But again, the link will be in the description. Check it out. It's a good documentary. And eventually this right here, along with all these quelching of questions of people, basically are going to eventually see that Esau has done them dirty, right? They're going to see that they got played. But here's the shitty part for those people, man, is that the damage has already been done, right? As the elder brother Menat Zakba said, man, you can't get a refund for those, man. They gave you those jabs for free, right? What are you gonna get back? You're not gonna get back your life. You're gonna have to deal with the consequences, right? And let this be a lesson to all those who were close to getting this jab, right? Because if you got this jab, hey, it's up to the Lord if He's gonna save you or not, right? These devils, you don't know what's in your body, man. There's a Japanese study showing that that it affects different type of people differently, right? But again, I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to digress. But again, this is something to show you, man, that you got to have full faith in the Lord, and you got to make sure that you trust in Him fully. Because guess what? Those Israelites who didn't trust in the Lord, right? They didn't believe that the Lord was gonna make way for them, that He was gonna provide them with a new job, or basically make allow them to be safe during the time when these snake bites were being mandated, right? What did they do? They folded faster than Superman on laundry day, and they ended up getting it, right? And we all hear about the story about those 20 plus people over there at the IUIC who got it, who died suddenly, right? Well, there you go. You got an example of what it is not to trust in the Lord. But again, all this that's going on right now, all the questioning, all these truths that are coming out now, the things that are being revealed that were once hidden, is going to lead to this prophecy. This is Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of His sufficiency, He shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, right? And right here, when it says straits, that basically means a path of difficulty, right? S-T-R-A-I-T-S means it's a difficult situation, okay? So when these devils are about to get their, new world order, they're about to, fulfill their agenda, what's going to happen is they're going to be in a difficult situation. And why is that? Well, because people are going to see that they got put out to dry, right? And what's that going to lead to? Well, as you see here, the hand where it says the wicked here actually goes back to the laborers, right? When you look up this word, it basically means the laborers. And who are the laborers here in Babylon the Great? Well, that would be, first and foremost, the Israelites, but also too, all the other, lower echelon of society, right? That includes these Edomites, man. Why do you think we're seeing all these mass shootings? We're seeing all these people starting to come up and perform acts of sedition, right? Because again, this prophecy is starting to come to pass, right? And it's only going to get worse, right? So I just wanted to share this video with you, Akim. Hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach Bardash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.